people that you believe will love you, or who you thought would love you, who once loved you, can be the people who can hurt you the most sometimes. And your job is to realize when they've changed their tune that it's not a reflection of who you really are. It's a reflection of now how they see you. It's a completely different thing. And that's okay. They can decide to change their mind about you all day long, but you don't have to then reflect what they're giving you and take it on as your own and take it on as true.
Don't drink, don't smoke, I'm a healthy chick. I like a brother getting money, kinda wealthy shit. Don't want a dummy looking bummy or a beta bitch. I need a honey who will love and give me crazy dick. All I do is think about the bag. All I do is dream about the cash. 2 steps to the motherfucking side as I glide past. If you ain't reaching for the sky, then you ride last. I'm ready for the limelight. My hands rock steady cause the time's right. Billy Born Betty, I'm the boss type. Looking for the heavy kinda king-like. I'ma get it how I get it till my heart stop. Get it how I live it till the mic drop. Hustle for the winner when I do.
What's up, guys? It's your girl Phoenix Novell, and thank you for tuning into another Bawse Bitch Tips episode. This video is called Losing My Mother and How I Deal. I'm not gonna say this is a hard video to make. My mom passed when I was 9 years old. She was diagnosed with breast cancer, and it wasn't the breast cancer that, caused her to lose her life at 32. It was the radiation, the chemo and that process that a lot of people unfortunately suffer from because of how drastic it is and how evasive it is and how harsh it is on the body as a whole. I was diagnosed with lupus in my early 20s. So that is the main reason for for the way that I live my life and how I eat. But her passing at such a young age for me and for her definitely had an impact on me, trying to just kind of like being curious and trying to understand health and wellness and how to care for the body, And so I want to make this video for not only people who lost their mother or who is dealing with possibly losing a loved one or a loved one who is ill right now, but also to try to educate people on how to take care of themselves and how important it is to not just leave your health and wellness in the hands and in the care of others who are supposed to know more than us about how to care for our bodies, okay? So again, I was 9, and I didn't really understand what was going on. I understood there was something wrong with my mom. I understood that, she was ill. And I remember more towards the end of her life when she actually got one of her breasts completely removed. I think it's called a mastectomy, if I'm not mistaken. And but I'm not gonna say that she changed her lifestyle. I know that for a period of time she was also under the influence of drugs. So again, when you're so young, when you lose a parent, and there were times where I was living with her, times where me and my siblings were living with other relatives due to, other issues or whatever. So I can't even say that I saw a whole lot of her towards the end of her life. But what I did see, what I was exposed to, was not a really healthy lifestyle. My mom didn't particularly eat well. She didn't have a very healthy emotional relationship with my father and stepfather, So I didn't really see somebody who was healthy on a physical level as well as an emotional level. And as I got older, I learned the importance of both of those parts of us. A lot of people think just because they may eat well, that their mental health and that their emotional health and their spiritual health has nothing to do with the way their body acts, how their body responds to certain things. And unfortunately, I've absolutely learned that that's not the case. It's not just taking care of what you put inside of you. It's taking care of, it's not just what you put inside of you physically. It's also what you put inside of you mentally, what you hold on to emotionally. That plays a big role in our overall health and wellness as a whole, And, I spent a lot of time wishing that I was older. My oldest sister was 14, I believe, when my mom passed, 13, 14 years old. So she knew a lot more than I did. She was more so the person who we looked, even though she was so young, Jen was a person that we looked up to as like mommy when mommy wasn't around. And even now, to this day, she's the person that I call. I love my sister. You know, I have several sisters, but, you know, she was the oldest one on my mom's side. And even to this day, she's the most solid of us all. She's the rock. She's the one who I call when I just want to talk, you know, when I have problems or issues with business or, you know, emotional, whatever. She's somebody who I definitely value their opinion. I remember her saying something to me about an experience that she had, you know, seeing my mother on her deathbed, watching her. And my sister is not a God-fearing, you know, person. She's not necessarily somebody who's like, you know, religious in that sense, but I remember her telling me that she was, you know, she prayed for like the first time ever in her life that, you know, my mom made it through and that she survived, you know, and unfortunately that was not the fate of our mom, but it just made me feel helpless in a way because, you know, we don't have responsibility over the choices that other people make. I wish my mom made, you know, different choices, but who am I to say that they were wrong? You know, her story led to my story and me being here and me being the woman that I am today. So I am the last person to sit here and make it seem like, oh my God, my mom made, no. My mom made the choices that she felt she should make for her life. And I wish sometimes that I was able to spend more time with her as a woman. You know what I'm saying? The important moments of my life that she wasn't able to be a part of, you know, I definitely think about that sometimes. But at the same time, like I said, I'm the spitting image of her. You know, hold on one second, I'm gonna show you. I was able to get my hands on this and I don't remember who gave it to me. I feel like it was my uncle, but I could be wrong. It could have been my grandfather who gave me this picture of my mom. And I don't even know if you guys can see that. Can you see it? I think I'm getting worse as I get close. I think that's it. This was her on her wedding day. I believe she got married at my grandmom's house. But this is one of the only pictures that I have of her, you know. I don't know, you know, I was raised in the group home in the DHS, so I didn't really have a very close relationship with my biological family for a long time after my mom passed, you know, so I don't have that connection to my roots that I wish I had, you know. And I'm gonna be, you know, I'm gonna be absolutely honest and transparent. When you grow up like that, you know, when you're bouncing around a lot, and I just happen to be a Sagittarius, and yes, I'm an astro, you know, enthusiast, so I do believe in the stars. There's really nothing tethering you to that familial kind of bond. And my mom passing in 93 and my father, my biological father, being in and out of my life, you know, prison, you know, there was really nothing to hold on to. And because my siblings are divided, where my siblings, only one of my siblings share the same mother and father with me, you know, so there was times where most of my siblings were with their biological mom or with their biological dad, and we were separated at so many very crucial points in your life where you're supposed to, where you crave or where stability is encouraged, where I was kind of by myself or kind of confused or kind of lost or kind of just looking for something to cling to. And so it was kind of easy for me to just blow with the wind. And I didn't mind it. I'm gonna, you know, just real talk, I didn't mind it because it was something that I just started to get used to. So by the time that I was like 12, 13 years old and I entered DHS, it was like more home for me than anything because none of these girls were with their parents. You know, none of them were with their family. So we made our family amongst ourselves. And that was, I tell people, that was one of the best things in my life that could have happened because I finally felt like I belong amongst so many strangers. And I think that's another reason why it was easy for me. It is easy for me to just pick up and travel, because I feel like I'm a universal citizen now. Yeah, I feel like anywhere I go, I can make it my home. Anywhere I go, it belongs to me. I create it. I can make friends. I can make anybody family. And I realize how blood does not determine how close I can be with somebody. It doesn't determine how strong a bond can be between people. And a lot of times when you are raised with your siblings or raised with your biological family, you get the impression that blood is thicker than water, that you have to love these people, that they have to love you, that you have to make sometimes toxic relationships work and mean something, and you have to stick by somebody's side who just doesn't feel like they like you. You don't know how many people, I can't even count on my hands how many people I have met along the road who have told me how they just can't stand their mom and they can't stand their dad, or their siblings have, done them dirty or did them wrong, and they keep trying to hold on to this relationship because they were taught the value of family. And I am so grateful in those moments where I do miss my mom, in those moments where I wish things, as I'm growing and becoming the woman that I am, and having those nostalgic thoughts or having those thoughts of, what if, I'm grateful that I was not raised with this hard kind of mental conditioning that I have to be close to people who I just would not be friends with if we didn't share the last name. There are so many people that I know who are in toxic relationships with their biological friends, with their biological families, because they just don't know anything else. So again, this video is predominantly about me losing my mom. It's also about me gaining this perspective that I don't think I would have had if I had been with my biological family from a very young age on to me becoming a young adult, And I just want to share my experience with that and say, listen, again, you can make your family whoever feels familiar to you. It doesn't have to be people who you grew up around. It doesn't have to be people who treat you like shit, who use you, who make you feel less than, who make you feel like it's a privilege to be in their orbit. If a person treats you like they don't respect you or care for you, then the best thing to show them is space, But again, it is easy for me to say that because of where I came from. I'm not here, to kind of like advocate distance from loved ones. And if a relationship is worth holding on to and trying to maintain and mend, then by all means do that. But it's a two-way street. You know what I'm saying? I feel like sometimes distance is best. I can love you from over here. I don't have to be subject to your abuse on a regular basis just because I want this relationship more than you do. You know what I'm saying? I don't think that that's healthy for anybody. And again, my point of, a lot of us think that if I eat well, I'm going to be good. But mental health, as we are starting to shed the light on it more, is sometimes more important than the sustenance you give your body physically. Because you can fast for a long time, but so many of us need to fast emotionally from relationships that are toxic to us. But we don't even understand that because we've never been taught that, right? Or we saw our parents deal with abuse or stay in relationships that should have definitely broken up a long time ago because of this commitment I made to this person who hurts me on a regular basis, who does not make me feel good about myself, who disrespects me, who my kids are watching me tolerate because I don't want to have them say that they came from a broken home. So many of us are living with this mentality that we have to be enslaved because we saw our parents do it. Maybe mom was a cheater, maybe dad was a cheater, maybe there was toxicity in the relationship, maybe there was a lot of abuse that you saw. And for some reason, we don't consider that. We just say, well, we stayed together and we're working it out because I don't believe in divorce. I made these vows. Yeah, but I also made these vows to love and cherish my partner. Where is that part? That's just as important as through sickness and the health. And the moment that those vows, all of it, start to break down, then you need to think about whether or not this is something that you want to give your energy to. Because I remember moments of watching my parents argue, I remember moments of watching my father put his hands on my mother in front of us. I remember moments of them just castigating and breaking each other down, and I can't erase those things from my mind. Luckily, I didn't turn into somebody who thought that that was what real love should be, but so many of us do. We think that if it's not that aggressive and and passionate in a negative way, then they can't possibly feel something real from me. You see how toxic that is? You see how that could cause a negative effect in the body just as much as eating a whole lot of heavily processed foods that are not natural, that aren't real. It can be even worse because emotions transfer on a level that doesn't even take you to be close to that person. I could just say something to you and it can completely affect your mood. That is the power of energy, period, point blank. And it's a verbal thing. It's a feeling thing. So why wouldn't you think that growing up in a toxic, energetic environment could do just as much, if not even more damage on a person's health and overall wellness? I miss the idea of having a parent around. My father's not in my life, my mother's passed or whatever, and my godfather, who was the closest parental figure to me, he passed away recently as well. Not having somebody around to kind of, talk to that I know is just unconditionally gonna love me and be there and listen and just be proud of me. It can be hard sometimes because of how ambitious I am, for one. Sometimes, yes, I do wish that I had it. I do wish that I was able to experience what that would be like, to have somebody, I don't know, that I could take care of, that I could, go to and be a child to. And sometimes I'm like that again with my older sister, but again, it's not the same, because, even siblings, they don't always agree, we don't always, sometimes you just want to be a kid. And I feel like, yes, there are moments where I miss that or I wish I had that. But those moments are very small, thank goodness, because I know some people who, they're very family oriented and they don't have their parents, or they're dealing with losing their loved ones or watching their loved ones have health issues, which, I'm just going to be real. There's a flip side to this. When you don't have that, then you don't have to watch that part, So I am definitely grateful to not have to see those things, and that my desire to have someone around like that is very few and far in between when I have those moments. And for those people who have, their parents or parental figures going through health issues or going through periods of, losing them. Maybe they passed already or whatever. My biggest advice for anybody, even if you're not in a situation when you have to deal with this, is to live life and look for those things to be happy about. Look for those things to laugh uncontrollably about. Every single day, if you can. No day goes by without me feeling happier or more grateful than me feeling ungrateful or sad. And I do that on purpose because I know that every single day here on this plane, this existence is a gift, if you will. A gift because it's not something that I feel like I earn. Even though I don't recall asking for it, I also am, happy in it. And I'm experiencing things and I'm able to shape my mind in a way that is most conducive to me being happy and peaceful. So as long as I can do something to maintain that mentality, then I'm going to experience that. Now, things happen. I'm not in control of everything. Shit happens. But what I am in control of is how I process what happened, how I think about what happened, how I carry the energy around, this circumstance and situation, and how I choose for it to live within me as a memory, And so if I had a loved one who was, sick now, or even if they weren't sick, if they had a problem, I would want to maximize as much as I could. And let me say this, I know I stopped at that. I want to finish that though. I would want to maximize as much as I could the good times. But let me say this again. There are people who grow up with their parents and they do not get along. Not all parent-child relationships are positive. Not all parents wanted to have that child. Not all parents are happy for, grateful for, thankful for, and good to their children. So I'm not at all saying that, that's the case, because I've also seen some very toxic relationships where the mother and daughter just didn't get along. They don't like each other, or the daughter is more closer to the father, the mother is more closer to the son, or whatever, where you wish that things weren't the way they were. Look at me. This is my happy, healthy, wealthy pillow, y'all. Available exclusively at www.phoenixandthebell.com. Isn't it gorgeous? This is one of my paintings. Okay, look at me, squirrel. All right, anyway. That happens, where there is just this, you don't even know why there's not a healthy relationship between these people. And even with the parent, like maybe sometimes the mom says, I don't know why, but I just don't really like my daughter or my son. I really don't trust them, or I don't need to see them, or it's not always siblings. Sometimes it is a parent-child relationship where it's not as close as you would think it should be. And whose fault is that? There's nobody's fault. It is what it is. And you don't have to force a relationship of any dynamic to work, But, I mean, it's nice to check in. But again, like I said, if it causes more emotional anxiety or harm to check in, or it feels more obligatory than it does, a pleasure or a delight to maintain that bond and connection. Again, this is me talking from the perspective that I have. I don't think anybody needs to try to force a relationship that would much rather not exist, But yes, how I cope is to make friends and build relationships with people who I resonate with people who I cherish, with people who treat me like my presence in their life is a gift, and who knows the reasons why things happen the way they happen? Who knows why some people lose their parents at an early age? Who knows why some parents, who knows why some people who want children can't have them of their own? Who knows why a kid has to be abused? Who knows why? In the moment that you start to really think about all of the unfortunate things of the world, you can fall into that feeling of existential, just what is it all for? Who cares? Why should I care? But again, if you're gonna be here, and this is what I tell everybody, be here on purpose, and that purpose, the beautiful thing about purpose is that it's completely and utterly independent. My purpose is for me to decide. It's not your job to tell me what my purpose is. All I say is live on purpose. Because the moment you are just flapping in the wind and accepting anything and doing anything and feeling like you live for the sake of other people's use. And that is the quickest way to death. And I'm not talking about the physical kind, I'm talking about the kind that just like makes you feel like an object versus somebody who is intentionally inhabiting this experience and making the most of it that you can. And what I mean and I say that a lot because I don't give a damn if you want to lay in bed all day and binge watch your favorite show, or look up at the damn sky, or watch the butterflies as they fly, or look at the snowfall. I don't give a damn. Just do it because that's what you want to do. That's what I mean by live on purpose. Don't live according to what somebody else thinks is good for you or best for you, or what needs to happen, or the role you should play. Because usually they take that role because you let them. So again, make the most out of it. If you want a relationship with your parents, if you have a good one, right on. If your loved ones are suffering, I advocate looking into what they're eating physically as well as what they're consuming mentally, and how they're processing the things that happened in the past, how they feel about the future, and how they feel about now. Because mental can sometimes do a immaculate overhaul on what's happening in the body physically. It really, because I can change here to change here, you know, and that's something that I found to be the case. So take a very, I'm trying to say this a certain way, play a part in what's going on in multiple layers of their life, including your own, okay? Consider the nutrition that you put in your body. Consider how it's prepared. Consider, if you can, starting to prepare more food on your own than going to the fast food restaurants or eating from the vending machine 5 days out of 7, okay? Consider what you're putting into your body, because the body can only use what you give it, both physically and mentally, okay? Now, it's going to interact with what's already in there. And sometimes things come to us that we don't need, so reject it. So this is what I'm saying. Just how we put food into our body physically, and the body has to find a way to use what it needs and get rid of what it doesn't, the mind does the same thing, right? Just because something comes to you, somebody says something to you, a thought enters your mind, doesn't mean you have to find a place for it to stay. It means you take what you want from it, if you can use it, if you can't, and get rid of the rest. That's your job, okay? Because the body just is gonna, your body will do that with the physical part, with the physical shit, because that's what it's trained to do. But your mind has to do that with what's coming in on a intellectual, mental level. If somebody's calling you out of your name, disrespecting you, treating you like shit, things that I saw my parents subject to, my mother, you know, subject to when I was younger, I don't know what she did with those things. I'm hoping that she realized, okay, this is real, this is real, this isn't real, this is real, get rid of it. But what I can say is, that's something that I advocate absolutely. The people that you believe will love you, or who you thought would love you, who once loved you, can be the people who can hurt you the most sometimes. And your job is to realize when they've changed their tune that it's not a reflection of who you really are. It's a reflection of now how they see you. It's a completely different thing. And that's okay. They can decide to change their mind about you all day long, but you don't have to then reflect what they're giving you and take it on as your own and take it on as true. Okay, so this video is to let you know how I'm coping with with losing my mother. I cope because it helps me take better care of myself. It helps me understand the importance of self-love, understand the importance of dating and being with men who treat me like a queen. And the moment that the tune changes, then I have to then pick up myself and say, you know what? I love you, but this is no longer for me. It's taught me how to value myself as a human being. It's taught me the value of family and understanding that family does not have to be biologically related in order to actually hold a part of my heart or make me feel like home. It's taught me that the relationships that matter to me, whether familial or not, I will hold on to, I will nurture. And it takes constant energy and focus to maintain those relationships by treating people with the same respect you want them to give you. My mother passing at such a young age, on one hand, was devastating because I never really got to know her as a woman, as the woman she was. But it also allowed me to realize the benefit to not having to watch somebody suffer as they get older. You know, I don't know what it would look like, but I know what it won't look like because she's already gone, you know. So there are ways in which I am grateful to be able to give my energy to other people who are going through that and not having to, you know, face that myself, because everything dies, you know what I'm saying? Nobody's here saying, okay, you know, it is what it is. And people have the right to make their own choices. Not only, say for instance, somebody could be very healthy, but they don't want to be here anymore. What happens when that, what do you do? How do you talk to somebody who just does not find joy in living? I can't even imagine the conversation that you would have with a loved one who just doesn't want to be here anymore. And who are you to tell them that they need to find a reason to be here? It's just, So I realize that there again are a lot of ways in which I kind of dodged a bullet, if you will, because I don't have to see my mother go out in all those other ways, So yeah, I think I'm doing pretty well. I think, I hold her memory in my heart always, and I cherish the things that I do remember about her. I cherish the fact that she decided to have me. So many people, they can't even imagine, especially when you are, young and not financially stable. But she chose to have 4 children. She chose to bring us all into this world, and it wasn't easy. But I'm so grateful for my life. I'm so happy to be alive. I'm so happy to be here. And even though I don't talk to my biological father, it was the 2 of them that made me. So I can't even say, there was a reason, and so my job in this is to make it mean something, and it means a lot. And that's why I live my life the way I live my life, because it was a choice that she made to bring me here. And every day I choose to define that reason in my own way. And I'm proud of it. So hopefully this video was helpful to people out there. Hopefully you guys are taking care of yourself and your loved ones. Hopefully your mental health and your physical health are just as important to you, right? And hopefully you all live on purpose. If you have any topic ideas, any questions, any comments, or just want to shout a sister out, like, subscribe, follow, and share this video, as well as email me at askthebawse@gmail.com. That's ASKTHEBAWSE@gmail.com. I spell boss, BAWSE, okay? And until next time, guys, happy holidays, and